in the bubble, NBA playoffs. What's going, y'all? 94 Feet of Life, sponsored by The Scene. Remember, subscribe, hit the notifications. You never know we're going to pop up talking basketball, talking football, baseball, battle rap, gaming, whatever. We here, man, for all your entertainment needs and discussion. Big Shot, Germ, Trav. Let's talk about it, fellas. Double game 7 action. Somebody
Shuttle
gonna
bus.
get on this shuttle tonight, or somebody's gonna get on this shuttle tomorrow. Let's go with what happened most recently, and then we go get into tonight's action. I was asking for the refund
Me too.
on OKC versus Houston about a week ago. I don't want my money back anymore. Serve me up an extra helping. OKC forces a game 7. Jern, I'm gonna start with you. Comments, thoughts, and observations as we get a decisive game 7 out of a series.
Man.
Let us down.
Okay, so look. So Big Shot, when we talked about this series, man, we was all for it. We was in here, sign me up. And then I told y'all to sign me out because these folks, I don't know what the OKC was doing the first 2 games. Now, in fairness, I think we all may agree to this. Houston not being able to close out in game 3 was huge. Them not being able to finish the deal in game 3 and allowing that game to get to overtime was huge. Because OKC from that point it seemed just to have the momentum in the series. As much as OKC has played good in spurts and things like that, it's just certain things about this Houston team that has given OKC a lot of issues. In particular, Eric Gordon has given them a lot of issues on the perimeter. Harden has given them issues as well as normal. But also, I mean, the return of Jeff Green. My man, what Trav, what you say he did the other day? You said that man was out there butter rolling on folks. Like, I'm just saying, this looks like this is going to be really, really interesting moving forward. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. I just to close up my thoughts and pass it to Trav, I don't see any reason why, you know what I'm saying, why at all this series didn't start out this way. But you know what? I'm just glad we here.
Hey man, I actually picked Oklahoma City to win this. The first 2 games, it did not look good. So with them trying to get my refund back, no, I couldn't get mine back. No, I got to stick with it. So I stuck with it. Chris Paul, he got real agitated. I think he snitched to the people. They did put in a code. They back in it, man. That game last night, Gallinari, somebody put a spark into him, man. Hey, he was killing. He was killing. I seen somewhere where somebody said like if it's a 6'9", 6'10" player that has a nice game that I would like to play like, Gallinari's that guy.
That was me.
That was you.
That was me.
That was you. Okay. Hey, Gallinari, that third quarter of last night's game, Gallinari showed why he's a number 1 draft pick. He showed why he's a number 1 draft pick. Dude was putting in buckets however you wanted. The one he had, he got mid post and looked down at James Harden and just shot it. That was insulting. Very insulting. But the thing that's changed in this series is James Harden has somebody that's not scared of him, that's going to defend him. Dort is doing it. Yeah, he gets sprayed, but he's doing a good job in containing the spray. He's doing a good job. And it really don't help when you take 23 shots and don't hit number like 2 or 3 of them and then throw the ball away at the end of the game. I mean, Russell, come on, man. You started to become that black hole, man. I got a special episode for you if you lose this game tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm sure I do.
Fellas, I'm not a big meme guy. Y'all know that. But if Oklahoma City wins this 7th game, it's open season on all memes. It's open season. Have at it. Because 3-1 up. And here's the wild part, and Jerm hit on this a week ago. The second best player on Oklahoma City has not had a great series. SGA has not had a great series.
None. He struggled.
Has struggled this series. Dennis Schroeder didn't play well in Game 6. But, and I hope my guy ain't listening to him. If he is listening, I need him to put me on mute right quick. That old dog number 3. That old wily, crafty dog number 3 just continues to make every play, hit every big shot. And MJ talked about this in preseason. This is a squad built for what he likes to do, where he can be the quarterback. He can kind of point folks in the direction they need to be in, and they're young enough that they're going to listen. So, fellas, I think we are headed for
an epic finish.
An epic finish. And if Houston loses this Game 7, Lord have mercy. Trav, I know I'm not a big listen to what Skip and Shannon got to say guy, but if Oklahoma City beats them on Wednesday night, Undisputed gonna get some real run from me on Thursday.
You got to tune in. You got to tune in.
That will be the rare time where it might be actually worth listening to. In the same conference, fellas, and I'm gonna swing this back to Trav and Jerm. We got a Game 7 tonight.
It's our 3-6 matchup that we talked about.
Jerm, let's get to it. Donovan Mitchell versus Jamal Murray. Lord have mercy. Go ahead.
Hey, look, we got small guards doing it like this now. Oh man! First of all, Jamal Murray, when he's knocking down that 3-pointer, when him and Jokic is running that, oh my God, it's bad. Like Jamal Murray, man, he has played lights out. Donovan Mitchell been hooping. Man, look, you predicted that Utah will win this series, and it doesn't look bad. It still doesn't look bad. It's just you can't do nothing when it's a dude on another team that's matching him bucket for bucket like that.
Yeah.
I mean, and then they got Gary, they got my guy Gary Harris back, which serves a good purpose for them too, especially defensively. It gives you another guy who's able to stand in front of some of those smaller guards that they have. I mean, this matchup is everything we thought it was going to be, and that's the best part about it for us. We don't care about being wrong. We like to enjoy good ball. We hope that every series goes 7 games. You know what I'm saying? More basketball for us. So, man, I love this series. I wish we could get it again. I wish we get it again next year when everybody's healthy. Look, I'm here for this. Go ahead, Trav.
In the words of a great Memphis rapper by the name of Player Fly, I'm calling shot after shot, whether you like it or not. If you want to see some shot making in the fourth quarter by 2 individuals, this is the game. I don't think Jamal Murray missed a shot from Game 3 to now in the fourth quarter. I don't think he has. He has, but I ain't seen it. Jamal and Jokic is doing what I thought they'd do the whole time. It's that dribble handoff. I'm going to get you matched up on Gortat. You can step back, or I can get it to Jokic. Jokic's going to cock back that Daniel Boone. You got to go for that fake. He's going to go up under it. He's going to do his thing. But Utah, with Mike Conley coming back, they are a good team. Clarkson took out the wig. He took out the wig or the cornrow wig, and he's been hooping. He's been hooping. Them guys, this is a good series, and I'm really enjoying it. Now, is the defense on the limb? Yeah, but I mean, hey man, just sign. Hey, I can sleep the first 3 quarters. Wake me up when that 4th quarter comes. It's on. It's on.
I want people to hear this very carefully, because because people like to not listen and don't really understand what I'm saying. So I want you to listen very carefully what I'm about to say. I've seen guys have great series. We've seen all-time great players have unbelievable series, right? I cannot think of a player in my lifetime who has been that hot 3 games in a row in the NBA playoffs. Like, it's one thing to score a lot of points. Like, we've seen Allen Iverson, Kobe, MJ, Durant get on rolls. LeBron. We've seen guys have unbelievable stretches. But this dude is on fire. Like, this ain't like a 40. This ain't one of them AI 40-point, 12 for 30 situations.
Mm-hmm. This man is shooting big shot. This man has missed, I think, a total of 10 threes, and he's knocked down 9 threes in 2 games. I think he knocked down 5 in the other game. This man missed 3 threes last night. He missed 6 in the other game. He's okay. So in 2 games, he missed the same amount that he made in both games.
Look,
this dude's man. Look
I think I saw a stat in Zach Lowe's article that said he's shooting like 75% at the rim. Like the mid range, he's shooting like 60 something, and it's like 52% from the 3-point line. That's unbelievable. Like, you are wild hot. And I think can you be hot 4 nights in a row like that? And
you want to know something? This might be the night that somebody like Gary Harris go off and give him some relief. And he had the most efficient 25 we ever seen on like 10 shots.
Right. Like, because of Utah, you in 2 modes, and I'm gonna let Artemis jump in on this. Is Jamal Murray so hot where we've reached the point where it's like, hey, yo, anybody but him? Or are we at the point where it's like, okay, he gonna punch himself out at some point. He can't be this hot 4 nights in a row. Artemis, our young wizard, young genius jumping in with us, man. Artemis, we talking about Utah, Denver's Game 7, Jamal Murray, Donovan Mitchell. What you got, man?
To that point, I just think that both offenses are getting these guys in the best available positions, and the defenses are giving it to them. So, and I think it's one of those things where it's just like, even when you feel like you got an answer for it, you don't got an answer for it. And when they do have an answer for it, or when these guys start, they miss 2-3 shots in a row, they're unselfish. It's not like they just play by themselves. So they can find an open man. They can find somebody else. So if you do pay attention to them, you do have other guys you can kick it out to. And I think Germ said this maybe a week ago or something, is that it's like you look at the Denver roster and you're just like, wow, who the hell is this guy scoring 20 points off the bench? And it happens like that. So they have guys like that too that can score. And Utah, the same thing. Clarkson. I mean, he can come up big in some of these games. So it's like, I don't know. It's like we see 2 identical teams that play like a different pace in a way. Mm-hmm. So it's like pick your poison, and both teams seem like they don't want to pick anything. So,
you know what's something interesting? Have y'all understood that Jamal Murray and Joker carry them when they have to be in the half court, right? That's what carries them. So if Jamal is white hot like this, that's 70 points between 2 players. Like, what? That's 70 points between 2 players. So you, just like you said about AD and LeBron, where's the other points coming from? Then that 20 by Monty Monk, or whatever his name is, Morris, that 20 points from him off the bench look even worse now. Because now Denver bench getting 30, they're getting 70 from here, and then the rest of the starters giving them 30. You can't let Denver score 130 points, Trav.
I got faith in Big Blue Nation, man.
Man,
And Jamal Murray is Big Blue Nation. I'm gonna tell you like this. If you're going to get Jamal Murray off the ball, do you want the decision to be made by Jamal Murray or do you want the decision made by Jokic?
pick your poison.
That's the thing.
Trav, that's a great point. I think for me, I know this is obviously easier said than done, and I'm gonna get it right back to you. If I am Utah, however we gotta scheme this up, Jokic is going to have to put that ball up 20, 25 times. If Jokic can beat us scoring 45, we'll get on the shuttle and go home. But the minute Jamal Murray hit 2 shots in a row tomorrow night, that's it.
Get them off
That's
of it.
it.
Get them off of it. Because the thing is, the way Utah hedges their screens, they hedge it to not get beat to the rack. What's one thing Jamal Murray been doing? Lighting it up from the outside. If you got a heads up and he gives that ball to his best decision maker, which I think the best decision maker on the team is Jokic, he can hit that free throw shot. He can get to the rack. He can make that pass to the corner off that pass. He can make it off that double. It's looking good. It's looking back upright for Denver, but the thing is, they have no answer for Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell is getting to the rack by will. He's getting there easy. He's getting there hard. He's hitting the shot.
Yeah.
It's something about that bubble, man. They looking at the rim a little bit different in that bubble, man.
And I think that's the shame of this. If you have to say that the shame is that one of these dudes is gonna go home tonight, and it's had.
We don't want him to.
And it's had an incredible series. Like Donovan Mitchell is not even getting as much credit because of what Jamal Murray's done the last 3 games, and rightfully so. Donovan Mitchell's been incredible the entire series.
It's big shot. It's been overshadowed
Yeah.
by the 5th and 6th game because Donovan Mitchell. That's what we were talking about at first, especially game 1. He put up what 50, 57.
Yeah, 57.
He put up 57. Denver won that game, but then Utah came back. Won. He had 40 something then.
It's 3-1 up.
Yeah, and they went on to win 3 straight games. And then all of a sudden, Jamal Murray has a 40-point game, another 50, and another 50. So
the 40 was in between the two 50s.
Exactly. What about a 50 sandwich?
Now, speaking of not on fire, I'm gonna let Young Genius jump in here because this is his home state.
Hold on, real quick before you go right there. Real quick, let me get in two of these comments right quick.
We got 2 comments. Let's go.
Got a couple comments. We got Tyrell here. He on lunch. He asked D'Antoni versus Donovan, who would you rather coach in Game 7? Tyrell, send this question back, but I know you didn't mean D'Antoni or Donovan. So are you talking about Jamal Murray or Donovan? If that's the case. Oh, Coach D'Antoni. Got you. Coach D'Antoni or Donovan. Which one would you rather have for Game 7? I'm going to be honest with you.
Donovan.
Me too. It's really simple. I don't think it's really a question. Because I think D'Antoni is who he is at this stage. Right. We already know what to expect from that. And he also said it was an interesting stat he put up here. He said Dame got a check engine light too. Jamal looked like he fresh though. So he looked like he ain't cut his hair in a week. He ready.
Yeah, Jamal. Yeah, there's a lot of gas in that tank. That tank is cool. That's why if I'm Utah, he hits the first 2 tonight. That's it. Now we're gonna swing this up to Wisconsin. Young Genius is gonna tell us why we should have no worries about the Milwaukee Bucks. I try not to be a Game 1 overreactor. I'd really try to not be on that. But I did pick Miami to win this series. So Young Genius, talk to us, man. Why should we not be worried?
Why should we
Or if you
not
are
be
worried,
worried?
tell us why we should be worried.
Oh, I mean, there's so many reasons to be worried. I mean, it's just it's one of those situations where yeah, it's a game one, and I hate to bring regular season into playoff basketball, but it
Mhm.
seems like every time Miami played Milwaukee in the regular season pre-bubble, I mean, in the bubble game, I think they didn't have Dragic, they didn't have Butler, and they didn't have a few guys in that game, but before the bubble, every time the Bucks played the Heat, it felt like a playoff game. It was a playoff pace. It was a playoff, like the crowd energy was playoff. You know, everything was playoffs, and especially the second time, because it was like this team got us the first time. They came back, they beat us. We had to show them that hey, we're here still. This is us. You know, we're the top of the Eastern Conference, and they came out and lost again. So I had before the series, I had Miami in 6. I still got Miami in 6, and I don't think that there's a reason not to worry. I mean, I always say something with the Bucks. It's like they're a regular season team. So I dropped this earlier where I was watching some of the highlights. I watched the game back. What the Bucks do a lot is they play zone. They play a lot of zones. They have 4 of the top 15 defenders in the league in terms of like advanced metrics, defensive win shares or whatever. And they play a team style defense. So what you saw a lot last night was when Lopez and Giannis were both off the floor. Jimmy Butler, Goran Dragic, Tyler Hero, all these guys were finding the angle to attack the defense. And what happened was when they were on the floor, they set screens high, and Lopez, you have to make a decision. Do you want to guard Olynyk, who can hit a 3, or do you want to sit back in the paint for whatever to happen? And at the beginning, and sometimes throughout the game, they just seemed kind of confused. It was like, you know, I know Middleton got a lot of heat where it's like, oh, he's letting Butler get to the rim. But in that system, that defensive system, once they pass that guard, or who, you know, obviously Middleton's like a small forward, but once they pass that guard at the top, they let them off to the help defense. They let
Which
the
is
player
Giannis.
go into Giannis, go into Brook Lopez. And at sometimes last night, that was Marvin Williams. And at one point, I shared a video earlier. That was Dante DiVincenzo was trying to play that center role. And that's kind of what happens. And there goes the confusion there, as like, okay, now Brook, you sit back in the paint. Game 2, if Olynyk goes 5 of 8 from 3, then we're gonna say, hey, Brook is not defending the 3. And it's like, okay, but what is he supposed to do? You know, you can't halfway commit to anything in this game. These players are too good. So
is that have they played that? Have they covered that way all year?
Pretty much. And that's why Brook Lopez is amongst the top in the leagues in blocks, because he doesn't have to go one-on-one with guys. He's not going one-on-one with guys. You see a lot of the big men in this game, you know, they extend their range. They're not playing in the paint. You know, he's not getting blocks against Miami because Bam Adebayo is playing in the paint.
He's getting
Bam
help side.
Yeah, he's getting there's a lot of help defense, and that's why I said I don't know. Maybe you guys can tell me this. And Giannis, he's obviously very lengthy. He's very big, but me and Jaron talked about this last night. When was the last time somebody won Defensive Player of the Year and they were primarily a help defender? Because these guys don't go man on man. It's so much of like have Giannis check Jimmy. That's not how they play defense. That is not how the Bucks play defense. So if they switch that, they're switching their whole defensive philosophy. And could they do it? I don't think that all these guys are good enough defensively on their own to be able. I don't think Middleton's good enough defensively on his own. I don't think Brook Lopez is good enough defensively on his own. Marvin Williams would be a very big liability. Ersan Ilyasova would be a liability. Kyle Korver would be a liability. I think you got probably 3 players that may be good enough defensively on their own. And that'd be Bledsoe and DiVincenzo and Giannis. And maybe George Hill could give you some, but not too much. And if you change that whole scheme up, I think their defense, defensively, they'd almost be like what the Denver Nuggets are right now. And they would be confused all the time, too, because they're going to run a whole new scheme in the middle of a playoff
you kind of
series.
are what you are at this point.
Yeah, and this is how they did Toronto, too. Miami is kind of attacking the Bucks offensively the same way Toronto did offensively last year. And the only thing that's different is on the other side, on the defensive end, they don't have to build a wall to contain Giannis. They did a very good job denying him the ball last night. And when he got to his spot, they fouled him 4 from 12 from the line. They did a great job denying him. Jay Crowder, especially. Probably, in my opinion, Jimmy Butler played great. Jay Crowder was a player of the game, just denying that man the ball every possession. Every possession, Jay Crowder was on him, just denying him the ball, wasn't allowing him to get the ball. The only time you see Giannis getting the ball was on top of the key, and that's not a good spot for him. So I think that there's not much they can change, and if they do change anything, I saw an idea earlier of putting Brook on the block. No, because then if you do that, okay, now you have Giannis, Bledsoe who can't really shoot. Where do you put Giannis in that situation? Chris Middleton can shoot. Wesley Matthews can shoot. But you have 3 guys around the perimeter, and only 2 of them can shoot. And if you don't have an angle to make the pass to the shooter, and if you have Giannis sitting in the corner, come on now, like
that's not a place you want to get. Trav.
Big shot. Before you say that, because I know you said you got a roll. Let me get your reaction to game 1 of Boston and Toronto. We can wrap up. I want your. Let's go.
Toronto. Well, I think there's 2 things, and Artemis talked about not putting too much of the regular season into playoffs, but I think it is noteworthy. Boston has given Toronto trouble for about 2 years. It's the one matchup in the East because Boston with the size on the perimeter with Jaylen Brown, Tatum, Marcus Smart, and Toronto we know is small on the perimeter with Van Fleet, Lowry, when they bring Terrence Davis. This is the one team in the East that I think if you were a Raptors fan that you were hoping to not get, and that's Boston. Like the 2 years of them giving them trouble is real. If I'm Toronto, that's one thing too. You just didn't shoot the ball well. You shoot 36% from the floor, 25% from the 3-point line. You ain't gonna beat nobody. I expect a better Toronto today, but this is a very tough matchup for them. Toronto is going to have to. Nick Nurse is going to have to go deep into that coaching bag for this series. I think this is the most difficult matchup they've had for a couple of years now. So,
especially with Kawhi.
Yeah, and this is where, and Jeremy, I'm glad you said that point, and I'm a roll. This is where not having the bell cow at the end of the game hurts you. Toronto last year was unbelievable. They could do a lot of great things, but they knew last 2 minutes of the game, hey, number 2 will get us over. Number 2 is going to get us over the finish line. And as great as Toronto is depth-wise, man for man, Pascal Siakam now you got to get us over the finish line. Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet, got to get us over the finish line when you had that Terminator last year who gets you over the line. So I expect better from Toronto, but this is a tough series and a tough matchup. Remember, folks, I'm about to run. Got to get back to the 95, but remember, subscribe, take notifications for The Scene. 94 Feet of Life, fellas. Be easy. I'm gonna keep y'all on mute. Talk to y'all.
Yes, sir. So real quick, Trav. Now we're gonna swing it to you. We're gonna come back to that game in a second. We're gonna go back to the Bucks and the Heat real quick. Trav, me and you was I was messing with you last night in the chat about about Jimmy Butler. Now you know I only do that because you know we brothers out here in the game. I try to make sure that I always bother you at least once a week. But during playoff season, it's like, every day. But the thing here is, I'm not going to say that Jimmy Butler played the greatest game. I'm going to say he played very well. I'm gonna say he took the shots he was supposed to take. And I'm gonna say that he still, made some shots that we still was looking at him like, Jimmy, that looked a little too hard, even though it went in. Here's the thing. Defensively for the Bucks, Artie made a great point when he talked about the zone thing. But let me say this. The issue with the Bucks is the help defense is the best when it comes from Giannis, because that's what starts the break. If Giannis gets the block and the rebound, that changes the whole complexion of the offense. When Brooks gets the rebound, or he gets the block, it basically 9 out of 10 times, if Artie, you can correct me if I'm wrong, it normally ends up being either a reset or it goes to one of the guards. But when Giannis is the person who blocks the shot, it starts to break. It ignites the team. That's a little bit different, which is part of why he won Defensive Player of the Year, in my opinion. With those things being said, what Miami did a hell of a job doing was just condensing space and angles to the basket. When he's at the top of the key, they put a guy in front of him and they just held their arms out from side to side and they moved their feet. That's all they did. They didn't do anything different. They didn't reinvent the wheel. He wasn't going to run over Iggy like he was running over dude last series. He wasn't going to run over Jay Crowder like he was running over dude last series. He wasn't going to run over Jimmy Butler like he was going to run over dude last series. He was going to have a problem. I told y'all, Bam is different. It's different running in the Big Blue Nation. I'm going to say your words. It's different running in the Big Blue Nation coming off a screen and roll because Bam can actually stay with him. So I think the defensive matchup that they did, the defensive job that Spo just did was just basically keep guys in front of him. But with that being said, Trav, do you feel like there's a lot of adjustments that Giannis can make, considering he's still not a great jump shooter, and him being able to shoot the jumper would open up the floor for him a little bit more, especially with Miami playing defense the way they do?
There's a young guy that's on here right now that said, who can stop Giannis for being Giannis? He's right down there. He said that. The thing about what Giannis stopped doing was being aggressive. He stopped being aggressive when he found he couldn't get his way at certain things. He stopped being aggressive. And when Giannis stopped being aggressive, the whole team stopped being aggressive because Middleton was cooking a little bit. And there was more deferring than anything. When Middleton stopped getting hot, he wasn't in no rhythm. He took 12 shots. Do you actually think that man is going to take 12 shots again? 12 shots now. It's 12 shots. Giannis going to get you more than 12 shots.
Middleton took 24. Giannis took 12. And Brook Lopez, who was the second leading scorer, was 8 for 10, 4 for 6 from 3, 4 for 4 from the three-point line.
He did a lot of deferring.
Free throw line.
He did a lot of deferring. And they was up. But, I mean, Jimmy Butler played his tail off last night. He played his tail off. He hooped. And I'm looking at the comments, and a lot of people and a lot of media are on Giannis being Defensive Player of the Year, not taking up on the challenge. I was the first somebody to say this. He can only do what the team tells him to do. He can only do what his coach tells him to do. Hey, you can hear it from Giannis' mouth. This is what he said.
Is that something you want to do going forward? No, I'll do whatever coach tells me to do.
That's from the horse's mouth. So it's a long series. Again, I'm not the type that's going to overreact. I picked Milwaukee to win this series. I'm not sold on Jimmy Butler as of yet. I'm not going to be, because Jimmy Butler is still a second-tier small forward. He want to be a one-tier, but he's just not.
Well, all I'm going to say is then we're going to pass it to Artie, and then we're going to go back to the Boston and Toronto, and then we're going to wrap up with the Clippers and Lakers fantasy. We're going to fantasize a little bit. We're going to romanticize about what we get to see next series. But this is all I'm going to say. I can't pick the Bucks to win anything as long as they struggle like they do on offense consistently. I think scoring is a big key for them, and I think they don't score enough easy baskets outside of Giannis, and I think that's a problem. And I think Giannis is going to have to work extremely hard here in this series. So I can't pick them like that. I don't trust Middleton at all. I don't care if he scored 40. I don't feel his 40. Like, I didn't feel his 28 last night, Trav. Low key, I didn't feel his 28. I'm not trying to say he's not good or he's bad. I'm just saying I don't feel it. When Kevin Durant scored 28 points, you feel all 28 of them Jones. When Steph Curry, when LeBron James scored 28 points, you felt all 28 of them points. And that's the problem, I think, with these other guys, man. Your second-tier guys, if Kyrie Irving scored 28 points, you feel all 28 of them bad boys. Because it's about the timing. If Milwaukee is coasting and they're up 3 points, that 28 points don't look the same as if they blowing the team, if they winning or they blowing the team out, opposed to if he get 28 points and they losing and they lose the game.
I'm glad you said that, John. I'm glad you said that because
RDU in next too, by the way. Bro.
Let me put you on this. It's easy to hit shots when you up 6 and 7 than you are when you down or when you tied at 1 or 2 points.
Mm-hmm.
So best to believe that it's very easy, and that's why you seen Jimmy Butler do what he did. It's easy to hit them shots like
that. Go ahead, Artie.
Yeah, I agree for the most part. I don't see Jimmy Butler playing 40 points every day against the Bucks. But I also on the flip side, I don't see Brook Lopez playing as well as he played last night. I can see Chris Middleton shooting the same percentages, but I don't see him having the same volume that he had last night. Because Giannis, I think his volume is going to go up too. But I just think that through this series, this is something interesting for me too, is that I think a few years ago, Chris Middleton played very well against Boston. And I think it might have been 2017, 2006, something like that. And he played very well against Boston. And I think the primary defender on him was Jay Crowder. And when Chris had Crowder on him last night, boy, did he go to work. He went to work on Crowder every time. So I think he should be the primary defender on Giannis, because I think he did a great job of denying him the ball. But put somebody else on Chris. And I think that for Miami's sake, because Jay Crowder, I mean, Chris, I've seen Chris kill that man too many times.
Jimmy did a good job on Chris Middleton last night.
Especially
he did a very good job.
You can't put Jay Crowder on. I mean, that man Chris Middleton sent Jay. I don't know where he sent him yesterday when he broke his ankles pretty bad there. But
20 of his 28 came off on Jay Crowder.
So that's something that I think Miami. We talk about a lot about the losing. We always talk about the losing team adjusting, but I think that's something that Miami could adjust right there, and I think they did. And that's why I say there's a difference. I mean, Bud is Bud, but there's a difference between Spoelstra and Stevens and Nurse. They do these adjustments in game. You don't have to go back. Spoelstra doesn't have to go back and watch the film and see what he needs to do. He does it in the middle of the third quarter, and I think in the playoffs, stuff like that is needed. There's times where I've seen Bud go back and watch the film and come back and do the same thing the next game, and it didn't work the first game. And he did that 4 straight games against Toronto last year.
Mm-hmm.
So, I just think with these other coaches, we already know almost every game of this series, if not every game of the series, Spoelstra is going to outcoach Budenholzer in game. So we need something from the Bucks to put, hey, our talent is better than your talent, and we're going to show you. And that's got to be the players. The Bucks lose this series. The coach is going to be the reason, but it's on the players to overcome that. And if they can, they can. And it's like Trav said, you can only do what the coach tells you to do. They play this zone defense, this help side defense where you can't, Giannis and Brook, they can't really commit to whether we're going to defend the 3 or we're not going to defend the 3. Are we going to defend the paint? What are we doing here? And when you see last night, it's like, oh, the paint is getting killed. Okay, let's sit back. Oh man, they just hit a 3. Next time I gotta jump up. But the Heat, every time Dragic, man, every time he saw that happen, oh, they're defending the 3. Okay, I'm gonna take it right in the paint. Oh, they're defending the paint. All right, I'm gonna hit this mid-range shot. The same thing with Jimmy. So, you have these players in game, and it's the coaching. It's the coaching. And they know what to do. Jimmy got to every spot he wanted to get to. Dragons got to every spot. Tyler Hero even got to every spot he wanted to get to. And if it
he was
wasn't
3 for 11.
successful, he made the pass.
He was 3 for 11, and I'm gonna. That's a goat on the line. Hey, but at the end of the day, Tyler Hero was 3 for 11 last night, y'all. All 3 shots he made were threes. The other points that he got came from the free throw line. But remember, the big shot that kind of closed the game out was Tyler Hero on the 3, in which they had that 3-2 look, and they boxed in on the left side of the court. Hero came around on the right side, on that right wing, and
nobody saw him. Nobody
saw him but Jimmy.
Right after an offensive rebound.
Yeah, and he sprayed them folk, and that was it. MJ, I'm gonna look. You see, I had to get you an introduction in there.
All right, we go. Our 94 Feet of Life, saying all of that. This is actually dedicated to you by a project that we have called the Greenwood Market. So if we haven't shouted it out yet, here I am shouting it out. The Greenwood Market is pretty much a project in which we're going to utilize a lot of the community's dollars, skills, and talents to be able to come together and build our own economy. It seems like it's very far-fetched, but everything seems far-fetched until it's done. So be on the lookout for that. That's going to be our next thing coming. Now, we can get into basketball. 1 second. That was anti-hero, by the way. So, you don't believe me? There again, right there, anti-hero. So, I pull out the anti-hero, not just because it's refreshing, because that's kind of the theme of these next playoffs that's coming up. Everybody wants to have that comic book style of basketball, but right now, what you're seeing as losing is the comic book style of basketball. As great as Milwaukee has been, as great as Giannis has been, right now you got 1 versus 3. Jimmy Butler is a bona fide star. Bam Adebayo, people are now learning, is a bona fide star. I don't know if George Dragic is, but I felt like he was always a top 20 point guard in this game. Just whether or not he got the opportunity or not was on him. They're surrounded by shooters. Right now it's have or have not. So, Milwaukee, I'm not going to get on Lopez because Lopez showed up. Middleton, we're going to really need for you to win your matchup in order for this to be a series. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and move on to the Boston-Toronto. I'm going to make this quick, and then I'm going to pass this back to you guys. Boston and Toronto, same thing. Pascal Siakam ain't enough. They got 3 right now. Y'all got 1 in the possible. Love VanVleet, he's going to have to start hitting some contested shots, though, against a lot of length. And as good as Kyle Lowry is, Kemba Walker's just as good, if not better. So what they're looking at is they're literally ran into all the things that Toronto does good, Boston does good as well, and also can probably do it on the superstar level. Because they're young, we don't know some of them. I think Jason Tatum is a superstar in this league. I don't need to wait. He scratches all of the check marks. He reaches that. I think Jaylen Brown, if you put him in a situation where he had to be a superstar, he could be. Really similar to how I saw James Harden when he was in a 6-man position at OKC. I don't know what happens if you give Jaylen Brown 30 to 45 touches and just pretty much get out of his way. I think the numbers will be there. I think he can be in the argument of being one of the best shooting guards in the league if he had that opportunity. Am I saying he's going to be the best like James Harden? No. But I am saying if he had the opportunities, I think he could do it. Utah and Denver, I don't know if you guys talked about that. I said that was my favorite series. It's going to be my favorite series. The fact that they put it on ABC, I'm like bittersweet about that because I'm like, nah, y'all should have been up on this series. Don't try to jump on the bandwagon now. What was you at when we was in this trenches for the first 6 games watching this, telling people that this was going to be probably the most intriguing series in the playoffs?
We was all excited about this, and the 2 series in the West that we was excited about was these 2 because I felt like the Mavericks, they stole a couple games. I thought that when Dame went out, I kind of was like, all right, it's over with for Portland. But as you've seen, Portland didn't play well in certain stretches, and their deficiencies really showed up in this particular matchup. Am I mad that the Lakers won? No. I'm happy they won. Now we get to see what we really want to see anyway.
Listen, for those of y'all who really believe that we have any type of dog in this fight, let me just go ahead and say this. Hold up. Let me just go ahead and say this. The lab has no partialness. The lab does not have any emotions. That game film I watch does not get a period. That game film I watch does not care about what's going on in the community. That game film I watch is what it is. It's about as clear cut as it's gonna get. They don't care about how I feel about it. Sometimes I look at it like, I think this is this, and I'll be wrong. You think the lab care about that? That film care about that? No, it doesn't. So no, I have no dog in this fight. I don't care if Oklahoma City wins the championship. I don't care. I don't.
We just want to see good basketball.
That's it. And even if I don't see good basketball, I'm still gonna study it and see why isn't it good.
I do have a dog in this fight, and I have them losing this round in 6 games. So,
and that shows even more objectivity at the fact that he actually is a fan of the team that he picked to lose.
Hey, look, I'm with you. So let's get to Toronto real quick, because I'm glad you came back and touched on the Denver, because it was good, because we talked about it at the top, and Jamal Murray, it's just he playing like we. I mean, what did we think we was gonna play like? What did we think? What did we say about Jamal Murray and Joker? We said them was the best 2 players on the team. The high screen and roll was what it was. But at the end of the day, it was going to be about the other guys coming in, stepping up, and doing what they were supposed to do. Mm-hmm. Those guys are doing what they're supposed to do. Jamal Murray is white hot, not red hot, white hot. That man is on fire. He got 2 games where this man that missed 2 games, MJ. Like I told Big Shot and I told Trav and I told the people. He got 2 games that he's missed a total of 9 threes. In them 2 games and the total that he's missed the 9 threes, he's made 9 threes in both of those games. The irony of that. 9 of 15, 9 of 12. That's 9 missed. That's 9 made. 18 made out of, bro, that's different. That's different. 18 out of 20.
The scariest part of Jamal Murray and Donovan Mitchell is that can be sustained over 82 games. How they're getting it, that could be done consistently. Jamal Murray shooting the percentage that he's shooting, that could very well be consistently done over the course of a whole season. He's not doing anything but picking his spots. His graduation will be when he goes against, and, you know, I picked Utah to win this. I did not know Gary Harris was going to come back and lock up Jordan Clarkson. That really affected my pick. I had no idea, but he did. So if he does it again, if they play Gary Harris again and he neutralizes Jordan Clarkson, Denver will go to the next round, in which I would love to see how he handles the Claw, how he handles Paul George, how he handles, hopefully Patrick Beverly will be back. I would love to see how he handles those type of defensive dogs. And that will be the turning point of his career, because Luka already showed he wants all that smoke. If Jamal Murray could show that he wants all that smoke, now we look at Denver next year and say, okay, they're a contender for real. We have to take them serious. Because I always said Jokic mentality was never a number 1 option. And there's nothing wrong with that. You just need a number 1 option with him. And if Jamal Murray's willing to step up and be that, so be it.
And let me get this right. If the Jazz win, Jazz is a what? 6 seed, right?
Mm-hmm.
If the Jazz win, they play the Lakers. Am I correct?
Clippers. Denver and Utah winner play the Clippers. Houston and OKC winner play the Lakers.
Okay. Because I was thinking about the seeding, like the lowest seed plays the higher.
No, that's not how the bracket go like that.
But they got it. They got it break down.
Yeah. 2-3 is the bracket.
So the Lakers is going to play the winner of Houston and OKC, and the Clippers going to play the winner of Utah and Denver.
And it's different from the NFL as opposed to the NBA because the NBA already has 8 teams and seeds are solidified.
Right.
With the NFL, there's 2 seeds, there's 6 seeds in which 1 or 2 has a bye, and if the number 1 seed wins, they win the picks on who's the lowest seed to win. So that's why it's that if this happened, you play here. If this happened, they play there.
Mm-hmm.
But NBA, no, that's just set. If the 8 seed win, they're not playing the 2nd seed. 8 seed is going to play the 4th.
And that's what had to change. That had to change. Plus the conference winner stuff had to change too. Being that Clipper and San Antonio series, that was the last. I think that was like 2016, something like that. I know what you're talking about. But yet, that Boston and Toronto series is interesting. Yeah, they lost game 1, but like you said, MJ, the matchups favor Boston, all because of number 2. They favor all because of number 2. Number 2 is not there no more. We got to see what Rico Hines has done to you, Siakam. We got to.
Man, this dude.
We got
now,
to.
I'm going to pass this to Artemis in a second, but I got to say this. Here is the thing with Boston before everybody gets so excited about Boston. Boston has not yet shown me that they can play 48 minutes of defense.
Bro.
Boston has not yet shown me that Marcus Smart knows how to not shoot when he needs to not shoot. It went in game 1, so nobody cares. Everybody just like, yay, hooray. And they were good shots because he was in the corner. He only shot the corner 3 for the most part. I'll take that because that's pretty much a midi.
MJ, what's the easiest shot to take in basketball?
The layup.
The easiest shot, not because of what I'm trying to get at is that when you're winning.
Oh, yeah.
When you're winning, you shoot anything.
Yeah. Because you're free spirit.
It's free. When the tie get close and that score get tight and them cheeks get a little bit tighter, pause.
But
it's a different ball. The ball goes to different people's hands. Pause. It goes in different people's hands to close the show. So we're gonna see if Marcus Smart is gonna take those same shots when the game's on.
What
He better not.
I'll let Artemis go real quick. What you got?
A question I have is just something I thought of. I don't think it would be effective to. I mean, it's not going to be effective to the point of these guys. Obviously, these 2 dudes are not going to be the number 1 option. But is there anything, and especially Gasol, is there anything Gasol can do on the offensive end against Tice and against, Cantor that could, get him maybe 10, 11 shots, 12 shots a game that aren't 3-point shots? I mean, can he knock the 3-pointer down? Yeah. Can Ibaka knock down the mid-range of 3-point? Yeah, we've seen him do it for a long time. But can they get inside and work on Tice and work on Cantor and give you, a 7 for 12 or 8 for 12 game and, 16, 17, 18 points, if they get to the line or whatever the case may be? Can they give you that or even less shot attempts and give you both 12 to 15 points? That's 24 to 30 points right there with those 2 guys. And that opens up, you got to pay a little more attention to that. That can open up for other players. Could that be something that Toronto changes instead of having Ibaka? I mean, if it's an open mid-range shot on a pick and pop, take it, Ibaka. You can make it. But if not, can we set these guys up, in the post and have them go to work on Tice?
I'm gonna let Jerm get that one, and I'll go last on this one because I like it.
I was trying to stay away from this series because I wanted to see what happened tonight. But y'all gonna make me have to get in the bag on it. Okay, I got you. I'm here.
Get in there.
So the Toronto offense, if we notice, is set up more for drive and kick. That's how, because of course the drive is the easiest way to start ball movement, especially corner, pocket, corner, wing, back around, right? So if that's the easiest way for us to get our offense initiated is by drive and kick and pick and roll actions, because Kyle Lowry does use pick and roll. They do drive and kick and those type of things. Siakam is the star. We all agree here. Siakam is the star, quote unquote. That's not saying that he,
no, sure.
You know what I'm saying? So if Siakam is the star, Siakam at the 4 position, playing some of the 3 sometimes, is going to have a mismatch because there's a lot of 4s that's not going to be able to match up with Pascal. It's just is what it is. So when Pascal kicked that ball to the corner, you either need Gasol to knock down that shot or you need him to get the ball movement, right? Here's the problem. When the ball is at the top of the key, the ball sticks to Gasol too long because Gasol likes to do this little thing where he pump fake. Now, we understand Big Spain. Big Spain is all about the big fundamentals. I'm not mad at him for that. But we need you to shoot or dribble, shoot or pass in this situation. Get the ball out of your hands. That's taking 5 seconds at least off the shot clock every time Gasol touches the ball at the top of the key. I don't like that. Now, if he's taking that corner 3, he's taking the corner 3 with no problem. It's the top of the key and the wing that he's not taking those consistently and with rhythm. That slows down the actual offense and the effectiveness sometimes, considering if the ball just kept moving for that same 5 seconds, we would get an even better shot. That's number 1. Number 2, the second thing that I would like to see, Artie, I like how you said the post, because Kanter cannot body Gasol down low. It's just not going to happen.
Or
Gasol
Tyson.
Exactly. It's just, only thing they got to do is this. And that's going to be enough, being 7 feet. Ibaka was Air Congo because while he was doing the finger wags, he could still get those blocks. The issue with Ibaka's a jump shooting big.
Yeah.
That's what the issue is. He's been a jump shooting big. And see, that's the issue with this series. They got the skill. Listen, they're the skill bigs that don't put their back to the basket and post up, which gives you the effectiveness when they cutting and when people are moving around and there's off-ball movement. But if the ball's not moving and players are not moving because we got players sticking in spots, FVV, it is what it is. But Boston is doing a hell of a job of just doing like this.
That's where I'll point out, and maybe we'll see it tonight. Instead of Siakam and Lowry are the guys that penetrate for them. Mm-hmm. But I'm gonna give you guys a name right now that I think may do a little bit of this, and he does it a lot off the corner sometimes when they're in trouble, and it gets to desperation. But a guy that needs to be big is Norman Powell. Norman Powell needs to be huge, and I think if he can he can penetrate a defense. He can pause, but he can do that, and he can drive, and if he drives, and instead of getting back to where Ibaka is up top or Gasol is up top, you might have a situation where you have Lowry or Siakam or Van Vliet on top, where you have a ball handler that can put the ball on the ground or pass the ball. And that's why I said you could have, and I think that's where that's where a change can go with Norman Powell. And I think we might see that tonight.
No, great eye, Artemis, and also a great way to point out the fact that Ibaka is not a post-up big. What I also want to point out to your first point, Artemis, is at the stage that Gasol is in right now, he's not going to carry a series from the post anymore. At the very best, he can play make and hope that he can convince Boston to help out Autumn so he can be able to make a play with the pass. He's not going to get you 3 games of 20 and 15. That's dead for him. At best, he'll get you 1 good game of 20 and 15 that you really need, but that's about it. So you hope to be able to convince Boston to be able to lose the discipline and help so it could free their shooters. To be honest, what happened in game 1 was really simple. Boston made contested shots. Toronto missed contested shots. It's really that simple. The thing that I'm scared of, though, is I don't think Boston making contested shots was a fluke. Right. They looked very comfortable being contested. They looked extremely comfortable against that Toronto defense. And Toronto defense ain't no punk. Toronto switched to zone, and even though they had a few turnovers figuring it out, once I saw Jaylen Brown get to the middle, got around that 10-foot mark, shot an off-balance shot, but he was in pace. He was on balance, even though he was off balance. Like his pace was perfect, and he was able to hit it. Then I saw Kemba Walker able to pull up from the 10 feet. I'm like, oh, they made that adjustment quick. I'm like, so if Nick Nurse is going to throw all these things out of it, they're going to have an answer for them. It's going to be a low series, which means they're going to have to hit. Now, with Toronto, here is the counter for you guys. And this is where I get in my bag for real. Kyle Lowry's your post-up guy.
Oh, yeah.
You put Kyle on the post. If Kemba is guarding Kyle, Kyle will punish Kemba. And considering Kyle Lowry is a very smart point guard, you help, he's going to find who you need to find. But if you try to post up Ibaka or Tatum because he has the advantage, he's just going to turn around and shoot a fadeaway, and it's going to play into Tatum's advantage.
Or a bad jump hook. And that's not what we want. That's not what we want at all.
The last thing you want Toronto to do is go away from what has got him here. And it's real easy when you have a size advantage to try to incorporate that mismatch. That's not what got you out here. If it was a real mismatch for real, y'all would have been incorporated. It's fool's gold. So you don't want to slow the game down. You don't want to do that.
Team basketball, man. Team
Boston's
basketball.
Boston's weaknesses are the big man, and there's no real way for Toronto to,
pick and roll, high screen and roll. What has to happen is
dive to the basket, because the thing about it is Toronto never had such a dominant post presence. Their dominant post presence is gone. The dominant post presence is gone.
And
go ahead.
Oh no, I said, and where you able to exploit Boston's lack of bigs is on the boards, both sides. Because Toronto, most of their points came from fast break anyway. So get your stops, get your boards, get it out. That's how you're going to get your points. And then on offense, since Boston want to hit everything, the best way to limit that is by getting the offensive rebounds so that you can limit their possessions. Now those shots ain't as easy because you're not getting a lot of them. Now it matters when Marcus Smart takes 7 to 9 shots that he ain't supposed to take. Now that matters because you only get 90 possessions opposed to 120.
One more question for you then, MJ.
Yeah.
Since this is the case and Toronto can exploit that in a pick and roll, and they can exploit that on the boards, do we see, and I think, obviously Stevens and Nurse are amazing coaches, but do we see Stevens say, you know what, let me just play my best 5 guys out there, because there's no, if this is going to happen anyways, we're not going to get boards with Cantor and Tice, and we're not going to get those anyways. Let me put my best 5 guys out there regardless of size, because we'll be a better team with our best 5 out there, and we don't really have to worry about that. If Toronto's exploiting that and they're having success with that over and over again, and there's nothing Tice and Cantor can do, why not just play Smart, Kemba, Tatum, Walker, or Smart, Kemba, Tatum, Brown, and whoever would be the 5th guy. I mean, Williams' defense is underrated too. He
showed up.
Point.
We're talking about Robert Williams, right?
Well, yeah. Where did he play?
He played at Texas A&M. He was a one and done. And because he was a one and done and he had attitude problems, he dropped when he was supposed to. He always had top 5 athleticism and top 5 games. Mm-hmm. But to answer your question, that is what happens when you move the queen, take the rook, and the king can't move nowhere. That's checkmate. Because Toronto, if you put your best 5 out there, it's not better than Boston's best 5.
Yeah.
Because Toronto's best 5 always has to contain Gasol or Ibaka on the court, and there's a speed advantage. There's a speed advantage with that. This is interesting.
I like that, Jern, but I want to go back into that bag. You named bag 1 and bag 2. Bag 1 was Paul Gasol having to Marc Gasol. I said Marc Gasol making the quick decision on there, but yet you're saying Ibaka, when Ibaka doing his thing, there's player movement without the ball. That is the problem with Marc Gasol not having the ball, which you're seeing the hesitation of, because being that the way they doing it, they're kind of like Denver in sort of sense, as far as the dribble handoff with Van Vliet. That's their only movement. They're not moving without the ball, but he cannot get the ball because of Boston backcourt size as far as giving them the ball on the handoff to get that matchup. That's where the ball movement away from the ball gets involved, and that's where you can see Marc Gasol make quick decisions as far as the pass.
I'm gonna tell you
Go ahead,
this.
MJ.
This is the way Toronto will win. Toronto is going to win because the most important, if they win, the way they will have to win will be the person that doesn't even have a jersey on. Nick Nurse is going to have to mix up defenses to the point where they never get rhythm. That's the way. I've seen them successful.
I
I've
thought
seen
you was
them.
going to say Drake.
No, he ain't. Even if Drake is on the virtual fan, it's just not the same effect. It's just not. But it's Nick Nurse, because if Nick Nurse, I've seen him have success with that zone when they switched up. I've seen him have success with the blitz coverage of the double team when he switched up in spurts. What Nick Nurse do is, and I'm scared if he does this, because if he does this, he might probably be one of the better coaches I've ever seen in the NBA. And I'm putting that even with Popovich, because Popovich had the personnel to just do what he wanted to do, and that was it. Nick Nurse is going to have to coach his ass off in this game. If I see him the first play down when they have that small ball lineup, they show matchup zone. And then I see a triangle in two in which we leave Marcus Smart open. Then I see a blitz coverage to Jason Tatum. Then I see a bluff and recover. Then I see just an all-out straight-up man. And you're mixing and matching these every possession. If I see that, I don't think any team can get any rhythm on that. Because I've seen him do this. Yeah, they had Kawhi, but I've seen him do this with Golden State, and Golden State couldn't figure out what the hell he was running.
Mm-hmm.
So
he did it against Milwaukee too.
yeah, and they couldn't figure it out because everything looked the same. Because the one thing Toronto has always had is Toronto's defense looks the same. Their discipline is uncanny. They will be where they need to be without getting a defensive 3 seconds. And another thing that, was not pointed out in game one was they didn't have any discipline on defense. It was a lot of this. A lot of that.
Yeah,
Why are you reaching? A lot of arguing, a
rushing.
lot of talking to the ref. I've never seen Toronto do that. That's not y'all game. You're not going to win that matchup. You're not going to win the talking of the refs and the slapping. They were just a step slow everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
That just really wasn't what I saw with Toronto. And even still, it was like they had runs in which it looked like they wanted to come back into the game. I think it was just too little too late. That first quarter just smacked them, and it was it. They played even the rest of the game.
I think game one too. This is why I don't want to say too much about that, because I think game one was just an adjustment, because you was just playing against B level talent the last series with Karis LeVert. I'm saying B level because he's obviously not a superstar yet, but he has some things there that we can work with. But you're doing that now. You got guys like Jaylen Brown who are super explosive, who are super athletic, that can get to the 10-foot range. And they'll raise up and they'll take the jumper. So I mean, at the end of the day, I think that's an adjustment game. That's why I didn't want to say too much until tonight. I wanted to see how tonight went, because I wanted to see what adjustment Nurse can make in any adjustment he wants tonight. It's just about understanding that, first of all, Boston, I have not seen them make jumpers consistently from game to game. I have not seen that either. So
Boston, I'm gonna tell you like this: Boston and Houston, they got it bad for letting folks in the game.
Yeah, I mean, that's the key thing moving forward. We're gonna get off of that game because I'm just here for the chess match tonight.
No, but we have to give the people what they need, John. We can't hold back. We can't hold back the work. For real. I mean, whether we right or wrong, they come here for the work. They want to know what they're gonna see next, because so far we don't miss much.
Nah, we put a lot of good stuff in there.
Hey, that's what I'll say. 1-3-1, Norman Powell.
Huh.
Think about it.
It can happen. And Norman Powell at the top.
You know why I'm not upset with that? And real quick, just to say this about Norman Powell. What if I said that Norman Powell was the second or third best playmaker, depending on the night?
I can't be mad.
And even depending on the night.
Norman Powell is that every night for them. Every night. That guy, it's because he's coming off the bench. And at first it was because he was a second round pick that people don't say anything about Norman. But man, that guy can hoop. Really can.
He's what we thought J.R. Smith should have been.
Well, I don't, we gonna get out of here with that one. We got okay. So let's just let's have a little bit of fun here before we wrap up the show here, y'all. Utah, Denver, winner play the Clippers. Who would you? Okay, if we get Utah versus the Clippers, I think Denver would propose a better series for us because I think I want to see what Doc do against Jamal Murray. I'm not ready for him to go yet. He's just on fire. I'm just being real. But do you think Denver has enough to win this game? I know that you mentioned the Gary Harris, being back into the series. I said Gary Harris being back to play defense, not just on Clarkson, but I thought
on Conley.
I thought that was key because we already know kind of what we're gonna see. And Gary Harris is so underrated as a defensive player, being 6'4", 6'5", and those type of things. But where does he come from? He come from Izzo. If there's certain coaches you come from, you got to be able to play some type of defense because otherwise you're not gonna see the floor. I don't care if you can score 40. You got to be able to play defense.
Right.
So I just want to see what you guys think. I personally want Denver to win because, as I said, I think it'll pose a great matchup. We may get a 7-gamer with the Clippers. And I think that's good. I think Utah doesn't match up as good as Utah does with the Clippers. I think it's because the Clippers can actually outscore them consistently. They're going to have the guards to make Donovan Mitchell's life hell. With him being a smaller 2-guard, I think that's going to be a little bit of a problem. But overall, what do you guys think? Let me start with Trav.
You know why that Denver and Clipper matchup will be good to me. I mean, I picked Denver to beat Utah in this series. I picked Denver. The thing that I see is not Jamal Murray against the Clippers. It's Jokic against the Clippers. I like Trez Motor, but it ain't enough for Jokic. Zubac, you want to put Zubac out there on that island? That man gonna cock that Daniel Boone back and gonna let it down on him? He gone. That's decision making. The reason why I can't see Utah playing the Clippers and make it be as entertaining, again, it's the bigs. It's the bigs. Gortat ain't Jokic. Gortat ain't Jokic, man. Defensively, he's better, but offensively, no. Jokic got that Daniel Boone ready to cock it and shoot, man. I'm telling you.
That Daniel Boone killing.
and it's so slow. You gotta honor it because he's gonna hit 2 shots. If you get 2 shots and he cocked that Daniel Boone back and you put your hand up, he's going right up under.
Oh,
he
man.
Skinny and go right up under it. Lay it
That man
up.
got a musket. He putting up a musket.
That man got an elephant
Gotta
gun.
load that thing.
That man got an elephant gun, man. What's that movie, Tremors? When that
No.
came?
Go back to Glory. Go back to Glory when dude was squirrel hunting and he had to load that thing.
He had to load the gunpowder in there.
It took him 30 seconds to get a shot off.
Hey, man.
Look.
On Tremors, that cowboy with him and his wife, Reba McEntire, that man had the gun, that barrel probably stretched my wingspan, and we're hitting that mud about 8 times and still didn't quit. That's Jokic. It's gonna take him 3 seconds, like Jack Sigma, gonna let it down, and he's gonna make a decision.
I'm gonna let Artemis get there. I want to go last on this one.
I just said this. I just want to say this, man. That Daniel Boone comment is killing me over here. I'm in tears.
Thanks.
Joker's got a musket, man. Like everybody, like I got a bird. Joker's got a musket.
Go ahead, Ari. Go ahead, man. I can't take these.
Are we doing who do we think is going to win tonight, or who would be better for the Clippers?
Who would be better? Who do we like? Whatever. You can do whatever, bro.
For tonight, give me Mitchell. Give me Mitchell. I'll take Mitchell. I said game 1. This is presented by M&M, the Mitchell and Murray game, but I guess it's the Mitchell and Murray series. But I'll take Mitchell tonight. I honestly think that these two teams don't match up well with the Clippers at all. I honestly think that the Clippers take them out in 4 or 5, either team. I think it would be an easy series for the Clippers because the matchup. I mean, I think if the Clippers see Denver, I think Kawhi might score 50 a game. I mean, that I don't think that there's an answer for Kawhi and Paul George. One of those dudes is, or maybe even both, just gonna take off, and maybe we'll start calling them playoff P. I don't know, but it's gonna be an easy series because defensively Denver doesn't do much. But for Utah, they defend better, so I do believe that they may be able to defend the Clippers better. But at the same time, I just don't think that they have an answer offensively for the Clippers. So I just think it's a bad matchup either team. But I got Mitchell tonight.
I think the post play is the key here for that. Like I said, for Denver, Denver has a couple guys that they can use in the post that will with size that will give the Clippers a little bit of an issue. But to prepare them moving forward for a much faster player, you will want to see Denver because that would at least prepare them to have to guard the 5 guy, which is going to be Anthony Davis that you're going to be stepping out there for. So just for preparation purposes, let's just say that. And then we got Houston and OKC.
Oh, I gotta say mine.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. You know what? No, please don't, because I'm gonna be real with you. Artemis covered 80% of what I was gonna say. That man is a golden train, and I'm telling you, he pretty much covered it. As much as we want to pump up this next second round series with the Clippers, whoever they match up with, it's gonna get ugly. It's gonna get ugly quickly because neither one of them, not only just if you want to talk from a basketball standpoint, neither one of them can match up with them with their mental toughness. Denver is way too soft for the Clippers. You got that Morris twin. You put him on Jamal Murray and see what Jamal Murray do. Just off of a toughness standpoint, the stepping on the ankle, the barking, the yelling. And then you got Kawhi who ain't got to say a word, but his game is just like a bully. He play like a bully. So he ain't even got to talk to you. He just going to be a bully. Like, when you have that, Denver's not ready for that. Utah may be more equipped for it from a poise standpoint, but they don't got enough guns in the clip. So no matter what, whoever wins this series, it was a great series. It's going to be one that I'm going to remember. And it's going to be a gentleman's sweep after that. 4 or 5 games max. And that's just what it is. Because they just don't have – one team don't have the bullets, another team don't got the heart.
Well, Houston and OKC.
Just saying.
What if I told you I feel the same way that you feel about that series as I feel about Houston and OKC? OKC.
Just waiting for the LA matchup.
I mean, at the end of the day, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I think I think Portland was the toughest matchup they was gonna see as an 8 seed that was gonna come out of the West. Period. I think because Portland would normally be a 3 or 4. You know what I'm saying? But that being said, I don't see. First of all, Houston don't win enough in the half court. Like we talk about that every week. I don't got nothing else really I need to say about that. OKC, I ain't gonna lie to you. Unless SGA start knocking down threes at a high clip, it's a tough series because Schroeder, we're gonna stop shooting that broke nonsense that you've been shooting. Even though you've been making it this series, it's gonna be totally different against the Lakers.
Hey, if Jokic got a musket, Schroeder got a Colt 45.
Man.
The peacemaker.
Man, all right, y'all. We getting ready to wrap up the show. I don't even want nobody else's opinion.
I'm sorry if I'm showing my gun enthusiasm to you right now, but the way Black Lives Matter is working, I had to go do some homework and do some lab on that too, obviously.
Hey, man, I'm going to tell you like this, man. If Houston had that game close for Oklahoma City reaching, don't be surprised if Oklahoma City steal it. And the Lakers going to beat a drum in them too because there's no answer for AD. It's none.
There's no answer for LeBron either, for either team. This is the series that there's no answer for either superstar player. So it don't matter what you pick your poison. Steven Adams can't check AD because he's just gonna take him away from the basket. If you put Gallo on AD, let me just say this to everybody out there. You put Gallo on AD, he gonna score 40 a night. There's nothing he can do when AD decide he want to put the bag out. When he take the bag off, AD got a whole bag for him. Call him Santa Claus.
Hey, if Gallo guards AD, I want the other 4 players to just walk back to the other side of the court and get ready for defense. I don't even want them to even like be a part of the offense no more. I don't want you cutting. I don't want you doing that. Just go back. It's cool.
That's like KD and Kevin Love.
Yeah, that was bad.
Don't
that was
do
pretty
that.
bad.
Don't kill yourself.
But you just mentioned it though. Like, what is really to stop the Lakers and AD from running a pick and roll to get AD that matchup pretty much every play if they were to play? I mean, because he can handle good enough.
It's murder. It's murder.
He can handle it good enough. What is to stop him? But even before, go ahead.
I was gonna say that I'd rather see Oklahoma City take that just because I feel like they not. I mean, it's not going to matter too much against the Lakers, but I feel like they can control the turnovers a lot better. I mean, you got Russell Westbrook and James Harden, but they can control the turnovers. They won't turn the ball over as much as Houston does. And since that is the case, I think that creates less opportunities for the Lakers. And another thing, Anthony Davis, the only thing that, and you said what would stop them, Frank Vogel and himself. I don't. We in that series and against Zubac too. If they meet up in the Western Conference Finals, which they more than likely will.
I'm looking for my phone right now. That's funny.
Do not settle. Do not settle. Do not settle. Because if you settle, then you're not very effective if you're settling. And again, there's no answer for LeBron either. But there also isn't an answer for Chris Paul and SGA right now, and they're not really turning the ball over much either. And having 3 ball handlers on the court and they're not turning the ball over, they move a lot. I mean, Chris Paul gets into the ISO a bit, but Schroeder gets into the ISO a bit. But if they're limiting the turnovers and Anthony Davis is settling and for jump shots all game, Oklahoma City could steal 2 games and make it competitive.
I'm so upset with you. They possibly could steal 2 games. You sound like Ty crying about the Dodgers right now. No, absolutely not. It ain't happening.
Hey,
please.
But we didn't see the Mavericks doing that to the Clippers either, and they did things to make it happen. They did things to make it happen.
But you know what? You know what the interesting part is? The 2 games that the Mavericks won, there's 2 things that's in common with that: bad defense by the Clippers in different situations. And another thing that was a big factor in those situations is the fact that, just to be honest with you, Paul George didn't play good in either one of the losses.
You know what? Y'all talking about OKC, and salute to y'all because that would be fun to watch OKC. I'm personally rooting for Houston, and here is why. Because I just need to see Russell Westbrook out the first round.
Man,
I gotta see it. Look,
I'm gonna tell MJ before you go any further. I have, if Russell Westbrook lose this first round, I'm going to be on here by myself. Nobody else. I don't need y'all. I'm being selfish today. I'm gonna be like Jimmy Butler.
He's gonna be like Russell Westbrook.
I'm gonna shoot. Don't worry about me because Russell Westbrook is he's gonna be a black hole. He's a black hole. Since 2017, how many times have Russell Westbrook been out the first round? Mm-hmm. It's the same number that's on his jersey right now.
Look, this COVID has taught me to be a little bit more sensitive.
Man, whatever.
It has. It has. I saw, maybe because I saw his son watching the game film, and I was bittersweet about that because I'm like, is the son studying his daddy? Because if he is, now we got another one we got to worry about in 20 years. Like, it was just a lot going on in my head at that point. And I'm just like, look, I need for Houston to win, and I need for them to at least, play Houston ball against LA for at least one game in which they blow them out by like 20, just so that I can see everybody jump off the Laker bandwagon and completely overreact, do 125 do 125 memes on LeBron and AD, put the crying Jordan face on them. I can't wait to see all of that, just so that the Lakers could just come back and walk them down and beat them in 5. That's what I need to see, because it's only right. The basketball guys got to give us this. Nobody cares about OKC. I'm sorry. Nobody cares. I'm sorry. Except for people at OKC.
Hey, if Houston lose though, I mean,
No,
social media
I love they
just
grind. If they win, they deserve it. I'm not
They do.
saying that. I'm just telling
They
you
do.
what it is. Like I
Right.
look at the NBA. When I look at the NBA, I look at it from a level in which if I was owning a business and I was the owner of that business, what would I prefer? I'm not saying they fix it or anything, Donnelly, but when I look at it and be like, okay, who's gonna watch a series of OKC LA and who's gonna watch a series of Houston and LA?
They're gonna watch the Houston one. But the thing that I hate, I'm gonna stop saying hate, that I'm gonna very much dislike is how the Lakers is gonna try to force feed Anthony Davis the damn ball in the post. That's the only thing I don't like. We said this before, and I'm gonna say it again. When you feed a baby, when you try to force feed a baby, what's happening to the baby? It's gonna throw up. Every
and that's
time.
why they're gonna lose by 20, Trav, which is why we need to see this happen. That's why they're gonna lose by 20, because the first game they're gonna just keep throwing it to Dwight, they're gonna keep throwing it to AD, they even gonna throw it to JaVale McGee. And it's gonna be incredible because Robert Covington is gonna keep swiping it and they're gonna keep shooting threes on the other end.
Do it every time, man. They're gonna force feed it. That's gonna force feed it. LeBron gonna call
That's
himself.
why we need to see this.
They gonna
you don't want to see that? That's not entertainment.
I love the overreaction, so I can get on there and do the same thing I did last time to make these folks be quiet. I like it, but I don't like it. From a basketball standpoint, from watching it, like, you're not even game planning. You're just throwing the ball down there.
I don't own the NBA, but I do have a lot of interest in seeing. And a pissed off Trav is way more entertaining than a basketball Trav. So that's why I'm rooting for it, because I need for Houston to win one game, and I need for everybody to go crazy. I need for Trav to come on here and get these people right. I need it. I need to see Jerv get frustrated with the horrible coaching that the Lakers will do. I need to see Jerv get frustrated with that 15-point game that LeBron gonna have, but he gonna have 11 rebounds and 22 assists. I need to see Jerv get frustrated. I need to see all of that.
So our frustration is your comedy, huh?
Yeah.
No. Y'all frustration is entertainment for the masses. I don't want to see y'all frustrated, but it gets good ratings. I can easily share a video of a frustrated ass Jerv. I can share that all day, and it's going. I can share a Trav going 15 minutes going crazy. I can share that all day. And you don't like LeBron kinda either? Oh, this will be golden. I need that. See, Artemis, me and Artemis, we're even killed. We just like, we looking at just straight basketball. Like we got a love-hate relationship with everybody. They love us, but they hate us because they want us to show more emotion. And the only time I showed emotion was with Marcus Smart. That was the only one that like rubbed me the wrong way, because I'm like, why you keep shooting that motherfucker? But now I understand. He crazy. So it's cool.
Hey, all I'm gonna say is, man, we're gonna wrap up the show. These folks crazy. I don't know what's wrong with them. I do not condone these things. The views and opinions of Myron Jenkins does not necessarily reflect those of the city.
Hey, I want y'all to do a poll and see which germ y'all prefer. Frustrated germ or analytical germ. And then I want y'all to do a poll. Which Trav y'all prefer? Pissed off Trav or calm Trav? I already know the poll with me. Would you rather prefer a drunk Myron or a sober Myron? I already know what's gonna win. Why do you think I bring it? I already know.
Oh man. So with that
30
being
minutes,
said,
game 2.
the scene. Make sure you guys check it out. YouTube, of course, subscribe to the channel, because you never know when we're gonna do impromptu lives. We got content that we just gonna start dropping on y'all head. It just is what it is. At the end of the day, 94 Feet of Life. Make sure y'all check out the group, be a part of it, support Ball U Academy. As you see, we are always in Ball U Academy. We be having shirts laying around. I'm getting ready to place another order. MJ was telling me something the one day. I said, look, I don't care about all of that. I just want my order. That man was like, you know what? My bad, Jerv. I forgot. You don't care about that. Look, at the end of the day, man, this is just a great collaboration of basketball for the people, by the people, all sports by the people, for the people, period. That's what this is. That's what the scene is all about. We got a new show We're probably gonna end up dropping again once all of the other games is final, and we got our final matchups and stuff like that. We'll come back and give y'all some more analysis. But with that being said, we got Big Shot, we got Artie, we got Trav, and we got my guy MJ. True Man False World. We out, y'all. Peace.